When I was a kid, I used to think that pork chops and karate chops were the same thing. I thought they were both karate chops. And because my grandma thought it was cute, and because they were my favorite, she let me keep doing it. Not really a big deal. One day, before I realized that fat kids are not designed to climb trees, I fell out of a tree and bruised the right side of my body. I didn't want to tell my grandma because I was afraid I would get in trouble for playing somewhere I shouldn't have been. A few days later, my gym teacher noticed, and I got sent to the principal's office. From there, I went to a small room with a really nice lady who asked me all sorts of questions about my life at home. I saw no reason to lie. I thought life was pretty good. I told her that whenever I'm sad, my grandmother gives me karate chops. This led to a full-scale investigation, and I was removed from the home for 3 days, until they finally decided to ask how I got the bruises. News of this silly little story spread quickly through the school, and I earned my first nickname, Pork Chop. To this day, I hate pork chops. I'm not the only kid who grew up this way.
Surrounded by people who used to say that rhyme about sticks and stones, as if broken bones hurt more than the names we used to get called, and we got called them all.
So we grew up believing no one would ever fall in love with us, that we'd be lonely forever, that we would never meet someone who would make us feel like the sun was something they built for us in their tool shed. So broken heartstrings led to bruises, and we tried to empty ourselves so we would feel nothing. Don't tell me that hurts less than a broken bone.
That an ingrown life is something surgeons can cut away. That there's no way for it to metastasize. It does.
She was 8 years old. The first day of grade 3, she got called ugly. We were both moved to the back of the class, so we'd stop getting bombarded by spitballs. The school halls were a battleground. We found ourselves outnumbered day after wretched day. We were forced to stay inside for recess, because outside was worse. Outside we had to rehearse running away or staying still like statues, giving no clue that we were even there. In grade 5, they taped a sign to the front of her desk that read, "Beware of dog." To this day, despite a loving husband, she doesn't believe she's beautiful because of a birthmark that takes up a little less than half of her face. Kids used to say she looks like a wrong answer that somebody tried to erase but they couldn't quite get the job done. And they'll never understand that she's raising 2 kids whose definition of beauty begins with the word mom, because they see her heart before they see her skin. She's only ever always been amazing. She's not the only kid who grew up this way.
He was a broken branch grafted onto a different family tree. Adopted, not because his parents opted for a different destiny. He was 3 when he became a mixed drink of 1 part left alone and 2 parts tragedy. Started therapy in 8th grade. Had a personality made up of tests and pills. Lived like the uphills were mountains and the downhills were cliffs. For a 5th, suicidal. A tidal wave of antidepressants and an adolescence with being pop. 1 part because of the pills, 99 parts because of the cruelty. He tried to kill himself in grade 10 because a kid who could still go home to mom and dad had the audacity to tell him, "Get over it!" Like depression is something that can be remedied by any of the contents found in the first aid kit. To this day, he's a stick of TNT lit from both ends. Could describe in detail the way the sky bends when it's about to fall. And despite an army of friends who all call him inspiration, he remains a conversation piece between people who don't understand that sometimes being drug-free has less to do with addiction and more to do with sanity. We weren't the only kids who grew up this way. To this day, kids are still being called names. Classics, like stupid and spaz. Seems like every school has an arsenal of names being reloaded every year. And if a kid falls in a school and no one is around and chooses to hear, do they make a noise? Or are they just background noise from a soundtrack left on repeat? And people say things like, "Kids can be cruel."
Every school was a big top circus tent, and the pegging order went from acrobats to lion tamers, from clowns to
Grapes! Lobster-clawed boys and bearded ladies, oddities juggling depression and loneliness, playing solitaire and spin the bottle, trying to kiss the wounded parts of ourselves and try to heal. But at night, when the others went to sleep, we kept walking the tightrope with practice, and yeah, some of us fell.
But I want to tell them that all of this is just debris, left over from when we decide to smash the things we thought we used to be. And if you can't see anything beautiful about yourself, get a better mirror.
Look a little closer. Stare a little longer.
Because there is something that inside you that made you keep going despite everyone that told you to quit. You built a cast around your broken heart and finally decided
They were wrong.
Because maybe you didn't belong to a group or clique. Maybe they decided to pick you last for basketball or everything. Maybe you used to bring bruises and broken teeth to show and tell, but never told. Because how can you stand your ground when everyone wants to bury you beneath it?
You have to believe they were wrong. They have to be wrong. Why else would we still be here? We grew up learning to cheer on the underdogs because we saw ourselves in them. We stem from a root planted in the ground and believe that we are not what we were called.
We're not going to be in a car, stalled out and left sitting alone on some highway. And if in some way we are, don't worry. We only got out to walk and get gas.
We are graduating members of the class,
We made it.
not the faded echoes of voices crying.
Names will never hurt me.
Of course they did. But our lives will only ever continue to be a balancing act that has less to do with pain and more to do with beauty.